Welcome to the Sci-Fi Horror and Fantasy Show podcast. And now, here's your host, Ron Donahue.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back once again to the Sci-Fi Horror and Fantasy Show podcast. I'm your host, Ronald Donahue, and tonight I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Robert Menard. So how's it going, Robert?
It's going good. How's it going?
It's going okay. So, you ready for Thanksgiving?
As ready as I'll ever be.
You doing any cooking or anything?
That's where the as ready as I'll ever be comes in. I don't know. Last year, I usually do a turkey if anything. This year I'm going to the in-laws because they have some family from out of town.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe if they really want me to make a turkey, because I made one last year, brought it over, I'll do it again. But yeah, this year I'm just hoping to do more relaxing than cooking.
Yeah, I already started my most of my side dishes. I pretty much did most of them anyway. So then now I did them, and then I just put them in the freezer. So the day of, all we're gonna do is warm everything up, and we're going over to my mother-in-law's house. So I think I'm gonna, matter of fact, I'm gonna brine. I do a dry brine for my turkey. I'm going to do that starting tomorrow. And I'm going to do a half day of work on Wednesday. And when I get home Wednesday, I'm going to go ahead and cook the turkey. And then, like I say, I think the only thing that I'm going to be doing on Thanksgiving Day, I got to do my dressing and my gravy. But yeah, man, other than that, I used to sit there, and you live and you learn. I used to try to do everything on Thanksgiving Day. You get up early in the morning to start cooking. It's like, golly, man, we're still eating at almost 7 o'clock because it takes so long to cook everything and warm everything up, and then by the time you warm one thing up and do everything else, then you got to rewarm stuff again. So I'm like, nah, this time it's going to be much easier. Yeah. What I was surprised at was just how expensive. I know everything is more expensive now. I mean, with everything that's going on, but man, I never remember paying anything close to what I had to pay for. I always get the fresh turkeys, the never frozen turkey, young turkeys, whatever.
Yeah.
Never remember paying so much for a friggin' turkey, man. Good grief. Like $50 for a
really?
for a 22-pound turkey.
Nah, man, I've never. I think last year it was only 25, 30, the most 30, depending on the size. But yeah, that's a big markup in price from last year to this year.
It's a huge markup, and the funny thing is, that was the cheapest price I could find. Because here's one place I sometimes I'll go buy stuff at. I called them and say, hey, you guys got the fresh young turkeys? And they're like, yeah. I said, how much? And lady said proudly, oh, it's $4. And I don't remember how much it was, $4 per pound. I'm like, okay. All right. You know what I mean? Where are you getting these turkeys from, man? Royal turkeys or something? This don't make no sense. But yeah, man. So yeah, I'm getting ready. So, anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So, there was a lot of, this is coming from comicbook.com. They're reporting that Disney is reportedly planning another live action remake to a 66-year-old animated classic with a divisive twist. So, there was a lot of controversy behind the live action Snow White movie that came out recently. Did you happen to see that one?
I did not see it. It wasn't something that attracted me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't bother to watch it. I know people who did see it and they were disappointed.
Really?
Yeah, which made me say even more that I wasn't really interested in seeing it.
Okay.
I mean, because when you're for me, it's very hard. I saw The Lion King, right?
Mm-hmm.
The live action one. I guess their version of live action one with the animation and stuff like that. But the cartoon was better.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because I saw that first, and so I have to do a comparison, and I didn't separate. There's no separation of the two. But when you see, especially if it holds how you gonna say sentimental value?
Mm-hmm.
because I know with the Lion King, my daughter was a big Lion King fan. So we saw the Lion King, we saw 1, 2, you know what I'm saying? So that was something that I enjoyed with her.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Did you see it did you see it, the live performance that was down here?
Yes. Now that I have to say, that I really loved the
Did
live
you?
performance. It's powerful.
Powerful.
It's powerful because you really hear the vocals of the music and the songs and the native language. And for me, it was a powerful thing.
For me, I was hoping one of the lions would attack me and kill me because, dude, my wife,
Why?
my wife just thought it was funny that she just kept looking at me the whole time. I'm like, is it over yet? I mean, like, I just didn't enjoy it. You know what I mean? I'm not much of a musical person to begin with.
Okay.
And I mean, yeah, it was pretty and the costumes were pretty cool and all this here, but I'm like, man, come on. How many more versions of this friggin' Lion King? I mean, I saw the animated thing. I did not see the live action because I'm like, why? It's the same thing. Nothing changes. It's like the same story. It's kind
Right.
of like the way I looked at it was kind of like when I saw Lilo and Stitch. I mean, I love the original cartoon movie, but when they did come out with the live action, I'm like, okay, I'll check it out. I didn't dislike it, but realistically, if you've seen one, you've seen them both. I mean, there was only some slight variations between the live action and the cartoon. You know what I mean? It wasn't anything like super major or anything that happened. But no, man, I'm not. I wasn't like a big Lion King. I'm not like a Lion King musical fan at all.
Oh yeah,
But
but I think that does make a difference because if you're not a musical
yeah,
fan, you're not really going to enjoy it. I like musicals.
okay.
So for me, it was like I said, it was great. The music is what captivated me the most, especially when they did, the origin songs, within the African culture and everything.
Yeah.
So I really like that piece a lot.
Okay.
But like, yeah, like you said, the costumes were nice.
Mm-hmm.
The overall, and I thought it played out it went pretty fast to me. So that's what I truly enjoyed about it. It didn't feel like it drug on.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
they Disney has kind of what really put, I guess if you want to say, taking these animated movies and making them live action, put them on the map. I mean, they made a killing with that Lilo and Stitch movie. So I guess, after the pretty much like not doing too well with the Snow White, but they knocked it out of the park with the Lilo and Stitch. They're talking about they want to do a brand new Sleeping Beauty live action movie, but the twist in this is, which I don't understand I don't understand this. As opposed to it being, because that original story of Sleeping Beauty is actually a French fairy tale, right?
Uh-huh.
It was made. It said it was a musical based on the animated movie was a musical based on Charles Perrault's 1697 French fairy tale about Princess Aurora, who was cursed by the evil witch Maleficent. But now, with the remake, they're talking about they want to move the story away from 14th century France and then move it to Mexico. So, I mean,
the setting,
yes,
but are they gonna say it's Mexico?
yes. So I mean, again, I'm not understanding what Disney has this thing with. Like, okay, I'll give you a perfect example. In the last Black Panther movie, which honestly I really didn't care for very much. But why did they make Namor like an Aztec guy? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't understand. I mean, look, I understand that the characters, unless it's like something that makes sense. For example, years ago, I was in this comic store, and I guess I don't know how we got on. The guy had got on the subject about one of the Avengers movies. So the guy behind the counter says, "Hey, I liked the Avengers movie, and I think Samuel Jackson did a good job. But then here we I was like, I'm waiting now. Okay, here comes the but. But so his thing is, I know this problem is. This guy's problem was, okay, in the comic book, Nick Fury was always a white guy, now he's a black guy. Okay, and I don't think, to me personally, it doesn't really matter as long as like where that person comes from has nothing to do with their character, right? Like we can't have a Chinese Black Panther. You know what I'm saying? That would be stupid. It wouldn't make any kind of sense,
Right.
knowing that the whole story is about Wakanda in Africa. But just switching off now, I mean, I don't understand what the process is or the ideal why. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what is the reason, which they never really did give any kind of reason as to why they want to do it, but it just says, well, so this is the one thing that it did say.
Okay.
It said that in the case of Aurora setting in Mexico, the film will be allowed to explore the centuries-old fairy tale through a completely new lens rooted in Mexican culture and mythology. Yeah, but then again, now you're not really telling the same story. You know what I mean? If you're going to be adding new characters that weren't in the original story, I don't get it. Why don't you just make it, how do you say sleeping in Spanish? Make it a new character or whatever, but just put it in Mexico. I don't get it, man.
You have to remember that even from French to the English version, there were changes.
That's true.
It's not as if it's the original. Once you change the fact that it's in France to it's in the US, you've already switched everything around right there. To your point, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So having it set in Mexico and just having it with Mexican beliefs, they're switching it around again. I think it's just I wouldn't say it's a remake as much as I agree with you to say it's just a whole new version of set in the Mexican setting. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you can't. It's like saying to Lilo and Stitch, yeah, we're gonna put everybody on Mars. It's not gonna be the same,
right?
Yeah. So I agree with you. I agree. They shouldn't say it's a remake. They shouldn't call it a remake. They should just be like, hey, we're revamping. We're completely changing the idea of what Sleeping Beauty is, and putting it in Mexico.
Right. And I don't know. I've been seeing that like more frequently now. They're getting ready to come out with an animated. DC's coming out with an animated movie where I think Batman. It is supposed to be Batman back in the like Aztec Mayan time or something.
Well, they've made him a samurai, so I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. Well, to our listeners, what do you think about this news? First and foremost, that they're talking about doing a new live action movie for Sleeping Beauty, but they're switching the location where it originally took place from France to Mexico. Drop us an email at drbloodstone@gmail.com and let us know what you think. All right, so next up on the deck, we have some Star Trek news. The Hollywood Reporter is reporting that a new Star Trek movie is in the works from John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldstein.
I heard that. I just saw that on the. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, but I just heard about that on the news the other day. They were actually talking about they're excited about rewriting, not rewriting, but creating their version of what Star Trek was because they grew up on Star Trek.
Yeah.
So yeah, it should be interesting. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think Star Trek allows itself for so many different versions. Is that time? Well, version not so much only versions, but timelines and character. What's the word I'm looking for? Where you can spin it into many directions because of just the broadness of what Star Trek is.
Correct. Well, they said that now the one thing I did read about this before they were saying that this is going to have nothing to do with the USS Enterprise or anything. It's just going to be, a whole new Star Trek, story in the Star Trek universe.
Right.
I guess, these are the same guys that did that Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Yes, they did that, and I can't remember the other movie they did. But it was another action movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's okay. Again, I think like you're saying that with all these, even with the new Star Trek series that have come out on TV, and for anybody who hasn't watched any episodes, I'm telling you, Strange New World is amazing. That show is absolutely amazing. I did like Star Trek Discovery.
Yes,
that was really good. That was very good. But the Star Trek Strange New World is absolutely amazing. The episodes are like so well done. So, I guess because this is the thing. Years ago there was word about a Quentin Tarantino script that was going to make it an R-rated Star Trek movie, which had never happened before. So I guess Captain Kirk was going to be throwing the N-word around every 5 minutes or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that had been, I guess it just never came to fruition. But I remember hearing about that years ago, that he was talking about he wanted to write a R-rated Star Trek movie. I guess it's okay. I think for your diehard Star Trek fans, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna fill the theater with the diehard Star Trek fans. But for new people, if it just looks like a pretty interesting movie or whatnot, they have a good premise or whatever it is they're going to be doing, then yeah, I guess it's okay. I don't know, man. I'm kind of on the fence about it.
Star Trek has a purity to it that you just can't mess with. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Even when they ventured off into the different ones, what did you have? Like Star Trek Deep Space Nine,
right?
Star Trek
Voyager, Next Generation.
Exactly. They still kept that purity theme.
Correct.
And so it was kind of like wholesome. So that's probably why it didn't take off with the Quentin Tarantino, because you're going to change the whole idea of what Star Trek was. The most they said, the most outrageous or thing that was on there was, damn it, damn it, right. I'm a doctor. So you can't really, you don't want to mess up that formula, because again, you're going to lose a lot of people with that. And that's just my opinion on that.
Yeah. Okay. I guess we'll see what happens. I wasn't the Dungeon and Dragon movie. I watched it. It was okay. I don't know anybody personally who thought it was like just, phenomenal movie. It was okay. So I don't know. Maybe they'll do a better job with science fiction as opposed to fantasy film. I don't know. But I don't know. I guess it's just kind of, it would be, well, no, let me take that back. So it is my thought process. I think that, yeah, maybe it's a good idea that they do it, because look, what we've seen 9 Star Wars films, and all of them have to do with the Skywalker family.
Right.
So I did hear that there were supposed to be other Star Wars films coming out that had absolutely nothing to do with Skywalker. So I'm like, yeah, okay, it's about freaking time, man. Geez, what was I, like 8 or 9 years old when I first saw Star Wars? And we're still talking, I'm 56, we're still talking about, the Skywalker family. So yeah, I think it would be pretty cool if they did do something, different, where it wasn't related to the, we don't know who Captain Kirk is, and we don't even know what time, like you said, we don't know what time this is going to be in. Is it going to be before Captain Kirk, after? We don't know where it is, but hopefully it'll be something good. It might be something good.
Well, I think I've been I've been happy. I should say, I've been happy with the Star Wars so far. Even when they did the Star Wars, where with when they brought back what's his name that played Cap with the new movies that they did, Star Trek, New Frontier. If I said that properly, but the Star Treks, they had a young Spock,
Oh
a
yeah,
young Captain
Chris
Kirk. Those
Pine.
were
Yeah,
Chris Pine. Thank you.
yeah,
I like those. Those were
they're,
very good.
yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah. So, but I think, in my opinion, they've been done. So hopefully they're gonna again take a new spin, like you were saying, a new spin to it, and have nothing to do with that original ensemble.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, like I say, now that I think about it, yeah, maybe it might not be bad. Maybe we'll see a new Captain Kirk or something.
Yeah.
Because my whole thing is growing up originally as a kid, I was watching the original Star Trek series with Captain Kirk.
Right.
And yeah, I was watching Next Generation, but I just cannot stand Jean-Luc Picard. The thing is, I never understood about it, which I said, man, I don't understand why they never gave Riker his own ship. I mean, even his own show. I think Riker would make a far better captain than Picard. Because, like I say, I know you have people who are split. Everybody has their favorite captain. And I know a lot of people do like Picard. I was asking some people at my job. A lot of people like Picard. I'm like, but the guy, the guy was just like, to me, just so wimpy. You know what I mean?
Uh,
Like, yeah, Captain Kirk, he was, brash. I mean, he said, I'm a soldier. I'm not a politician. He'll talk to you about joining Starfleet, and you like, well, we don't want to do. Okay, then he coming across the table. But Picard would sit there like get down and start begging and crying. I don't know. He's just, I don't know, man. I guess out of all my favorite captains, I think after seeing the Strange New World, man, I have a whole new respect for Captain Pike, man.
okay.
This Anson Mount, man. He is, wow. He's an awesome actor, and the way he handles situation, it's rough now, man. It's really rough for me to say, okay, Captain Kirk, Captain Pecan, back Captain Pike. It's kind of rough, man. It's really really close. But Picard was really the least favorite out of all my. I even like Janeway. Janeway kind of reminded me of Captain Kirk. She didn't play around either, you know.
No, Janeway was good.
Yeah, she didn't mess around, but
Yeah, Janeway. I like Janeway. I actually did like Picard. I liked his how you call that? I guess his swagger.
Make
a
a
little.
show #1. Yeah,
Yeah, I like that. But I understand what you're saying when you're comparing Captain Kirk to Picard.
right.
So
Because look, at the end of the day, look, who did Picard have to find to help him? Fight this villain, and that's going to end the universe or whatever. He had to go find Captain Kirk and get Captain Kirk to help him.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? When did
Yeah.
Captain Kirk ever get any other captain to help him? Besides, never. That's what I'm saying, man. And I don't know. Like I said, I always thought that Picard should have had his. I mean, not Picard. Riker should have had his own show. Yeah, man, but it never happened. But anyway. That's what's up, man. So next on the deck, we have recently, a Superman comic book, #1 issue, 1939, just broke the new record as the most expensive comic book ever sold. It sold recently for $9.12 million at an auction. Now, the previous amount of a Superman comic was a few years ago, which at that point was the record sold for like $6 million. And this story is so amazing that there's 3 brothers, right, who are in their 50s and 60s. said that their mom had passed away, and that she told them that she had she had some comic books, had a comic book collection or whatever. So I guess, just going through her house or whatever, they went up in the attic and they found this Superman, #1 Superman comic book. And I guess it was packed very well, in between. I think it was like some other books and some other things, to keep it safe or whatever. But the thing had been sitting there like forever. And they said it was kept in a cardboard box, protected by just a pile of old newspapers. He said, nevertheless, the comic, which originally sold for 10 cents, was found so well preserved that it was deemed the highest ever graded copy by Dallas-based auction house Heritage Auctions, which made the record-breaking sale on Thursday. So now, for those who don't know, okay, let me break it down for you. So for comic book collectors like myself, there are certain different companies that when you have a valuable comic book, or even if it's not valuable, if you just want to get like a grade on it, a grade can be all the way down from like 0, 0.1, 0.2 to the highest grade of a comic book is actually a 10.0. And in my lifetime, I've been collecting comic books since I was in high school. Like I said, I'm 56 now. I personally have never seen a 10 in my life. The highest grade comic books that I've ever seen and owned myself is like a 9.8, right? That's like just nearly perfect. Okay. This one that they found, I guess when they had the name of the company that they sent it to, this is like a major company where you want to get your books graded. And it's called encapsulation, where they'll actually take the comic book, they'll grade it, and they put it inside like it's a holder. It's a hard plastic holder. It has information about the book, the year it came out. It has the grade on it. It has their CGC stamp, so it's authentic. And this book actually came in at a 9.0, which is actually like phenomenal for a book to be that old. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. There's like a little bit on the top. If you look at the picture, it's a little spot in the top left corner. I mean, it's nothing like horrible. It's like a little darkening spot there. The staples are still attached. The cover is still attached with the staples. I mean, man, if you didn't know how old this book was, you'd think, it's a few years old. Somebody read it, it's a few years old. But what say you, Robert? I mean, that's pretty amazing, man. They just happen to go and find it, and now like he had $9.2 million for this book.
I mean, well, and the funny thing is, let me start like this. I was just talking to my son because he went to a book fair and he got some comic books, and I was like, "Did you get any first appearances?" He's like, "Nah, man, nothing I have has a first appearance of anybody."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Okay, well, that's what that's the great those about." I said, "Comic books. When you're looking out for the comic books, don't forget to look for ones that have first appearances. Get the ones you like, but don't forget the first appearance comics because those are the ones that are gonna appreciate." Depending on who the first appearance character is. So the fact that you bring this up with the auction. Now, I remember the last one that you brought up, the last Superman copy that sold. And the guy was like this super rich dude who keeps it in a vault.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the fact of how much it's worth. So
Right.
It was very interesting. And I thought you were going to say it was the same one that just resold at auction. But yeah, it's those first appearances or first edition comics, it is something else. And I think that I'm trying to see the picture of the comic that sold.
It's on they actually have it on CNN. If you type in CNN Arts Superman #1 Attic, that'll pull it right up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but sorry about that. But other than that, I mean, I just wish I kept all the comic books I had when I was a kid.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think about some of the ones that I had. I mean, now they're not like $1 million books, but I actually had the first Star Wars comic books.
Hmm.
And those are, like I say, pretty valuable right now, depending, of how high of a grade they are or what
Right.
condition they're in. But yeah, man, I look at a lot of these books. Incidentally, I just I it was one of my so I have a few comic books that are like my holy grails, right? That I just if I get my hands on them, I'm gonna go ahead and get them graded, and I'm not gonna sell them. Let me take it back. Only way I would sell it would be to sell it to take that money to buy a higher grade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just recently got my hands on Submariner #1.
Okay.
Yeah, it came out. It's a year older than me. It came out in 1958. I think it's March. It's either March or May of 1958. And I mean, the condition that this book is in is like amazing. I'm guessing, roughly, I'll take it down just to be safe. I think it could at least be like a 7.0, maybe a bit higher, because I'm gonna go ahead and get it because when you send your comics in, folks, you can get a couple things to get a higher grade on it. You can have them like do like a little cleaning, a dry cleaning of it, and then you can also have it pressed. When they have it, so if there's any wrinkles or anything on it or like any creases when they press that thing, I mean, it looks like it's a brand new book, right? Now, I guess some people would ask, oh, why would you go through all that? Okay, well, it's two reasons why you would do that. Well, two reasons why you would get it graded one would be to know just in essence what condition that this book is in that you have, right? And then when you're showing it to other people or whatever, if it's a book, because I have some books, I have there's no strings attached to it for me. I mean, I'll sell it. I don't care. I mean, I just happen to get it more of as an investment as opposed to, for my personal collection. Now, like there's other ones like this Prince Namor, again, that's one that I would want to keep. Again, like I say, the only way I would sell it is to be able to get a higher graded book. But that's pretty much why people do it. And then, like I say, with the encapsulation of your book, it's not going to get damaged. You know what I mean? It's just basically like from my Star Wars people. You remember when Han Solo got put in carbonite? That's basically like it is for your comic book, except you can see it. And it won't get any kind of damage done to it or anything like that. So that's why people do it. Excuse me.
I find it interesting though
What's that?
that where this woman had it, that she must have kept like that attic must have never had any moisture,
Oh yeah.
humidity,
Uh-huh.
or anything,
Uh-huh.
but to be in such a pristine. So I was looking at it and I was like, this thing was like almost in pristine condition.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
So,
if you didn't know, right? If this was just like say this book came out 10, 15 years ago, you'd be like, okay, man, this is in great shape. Now, what makes it even more amazing is how old this thing is. It's like you said, she had that thing, I guess. And you know what's amazing about that? That she had it with newspapers around it, or like in between newspapers. What's amazing at throughout the years, none of that ink from the newspaper smudged it at all.
correct.
You know what I mean? That's what's
Yeah.
like really the shocking thing more than anything else. I can see if they say she had it between two pieces of white paper and then had the newspaper, but no, she just had it sandwiched in some newspaper. Man, I couldn't imagine. I wonder, did these guys even realize what they had when they found it? You know what I mean?
Probably not. If you're not really, if you don't have an idea,
Right.
they probably just took it and someone's like, "You got what? Go! You should go get." Because usually when you go through and people go through the attics of their parents and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
it's like Antiques Roadshow.
Right.
Let me go just see what this is, and if I can get something, I can get some. If I can't, I can't. But yeah, I don't think they knew what they had. I think they found out once they went to the right person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, I'm glad one of us. Oh, let me get this to my grandson. He might like to see, like to see this. You know. Yeah. I just think it's amazing, man. When you have a relative or something, and they have something. Could you imagine in that house that entire time? What if that house had caught on fire? And
Man.
nobody's thinking, oh wait, we got Superman up in the attic. That book could have got. I know right now, one of my coworkers' husband. Now, like my collection, I think I have maybe like about close to 2,000 books, right, altogether. That's like nothing compared to my coworker's husband. And he's on Instagram, and she showed me a picture one day, and I'm not lying. Of those 5 different books that he had, the grade that they were, I told her, I said, do you realize that just these 5 books alone are worth about 50 grand? Right? And she didn't know, because she's like, oh, but what's the payoff going to be? You know what I mean? She wants them, I guess,
Yeah.
to sell or whatever. But I'm like, where does he keep them? And she's like, oh, in the house. I'm like, are you all insane? I mean, at least like you said, Robert, take the most valuable ones and go get a bank vault or something, man. Don't keep those things in your house. You
Nope.
know what I'm saying? You're not going to be able to rescue all of them if you have a house fire, and your insurance is definitely not going to cover it.
The
Your homeowners.
insurance gonna have to believe you first. Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
got a comic book worth $50,000. I don't think so.
Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, those are some nice pictures. Where'd you get them from? So, yeah, you can't insure that kind of stuff. But I said, yeah, man, you talk to dude, man. That's crazy to have that kind of money just laying around like that. But yeah, that's an awesome story, man. I wish I could come across something like that. You know, I've been to some, like, when they have like those open houses, where they're having like auctions or whatever, people's
Yeah.
houses, estate sales and things. I've seen some valuable books. Man, one time, oh man, I even saw the pictures, and I told my wife, I said, man, I gotta go. I say, just from this picture alone, this one book right here, depending on what they're selling this stuff for, if I could get this one book right here, this one book is worth what, $300-$400, right?
Mhm.
And but the thing that made it so lousy, they gave you the time that you had to come, right? So you couldn't just show up at 8:00 in the morning and go in there and run straight to get the book. It wasn't like that. By the time I got there, man, everything was already gone. You know what I mean? They gave you a window time to show up, and I was like, oh man, I was pissed.
So
But
somebody's toddler got the comic book.
yeah, you know what I mean? Man, oh man, that's crazy. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy for them, man. I mean, that's really awesome, but but at the same time, I wonder what their like lifestyle was before them. Like, oh my God, we were living in this raggedy house. We could have been,
Right?
millionaires. I don't
That's
know.
Solano. That's
Yeah,
what Solano right there.
yeah, you see what I'm saying? But anyway, man, I'm happy for them, man. It's pretty cool. All right, so next from the direct, it says DC officially unveils James Gunn's new Gotham logo. So they're already, I guess right now, they're already doing set photos from the Clayface horror movie that's going to be coming out. And so they have a number of different pictures. They have like a police car, and it has like the city of Gotham logo on it. They had looks like what is this? Oh, the city hall. So they have like a flag there hanging. The colors are red, white, and blue, but it looks like a really old flag for Gotham City. They also have the it says it's the logo for the Gotham City News. It says using red letters and a square border coming from one end to the end, the back end of it's like, this is on a truck. It's like a news truck. You can see the logo of it or what have you. So, I mean, again, everybody knew that Batman was coming. And like I said, we already got the preview from Creature Commandos, and I'm just trying to figure out, I mean, like, man, they said that Ben Affleck was actually the tallest Batman that there's ever been out of all the different people who played Batman.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to figure out from that image that we saw it was just like a silhouette. If anybody's watched, if you guys ever watched Creature Commandos, I don't remember what episode, but there's just a brief scene where it's like this gangster's hideout. And the way that a lot of the buildings in Gotham City are like that old style 1930s, look or whatever. And they had like I guess if you want to call it a skylight, but up on in the ceiling of this building. So Batman was there and looking down, and lightning just like flashed behind him, and you saw him. And that dude looked like the Incredible Hulk in a Batman suit. I mean, the guy was like huge. So, we talked about this on the show before, just speculating is, man, are they going to have a Batman that friggin' big? Because if that's the case, we've never had one that big before. You know what I mean? So, no.
But there was a Batman, was it year one? Where they had a Batman that was just like muscle bound?
Yeah, that was a series where he ended up fighting Superman, and that's where they got like with the Christian Bale movies. That's where they got a lot of their. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. No, I'm sorry, not Christian Bale. That was when that horrible Batman versus Superman movie. They took a lot of like from year one and that Batman versus Superman from that comic book that came out years ago, where Batman defeated Superman, and Batman was already old though. And if you looked at the Batman from the movie was Ben Affleck. I don't know if it's the alcohol or what, but he looked old anyway. But the thing is, I mean, we already knew this was going to happen. We already knew it. Because matter of fact, even if in the Superman movie, there was one scene of a highway and they had a sign right there, just like a green and white highway sign, saying Gotham City. So it wasn't a matter of when, of if, it was just a matter of when that he's going to show up. Now, as far as I understood, the next big movie that's coming out is Supergirl, which, hey, look, I trust James Gunn. I mean, that's a weird pick to me, but that's the next one that's supposed to be coming out. I don't know. I'm assuming Clayface is going to be coming, maybe if not the same year, because I'm thinking all this is going to probably be coming out like in probably like 2027. I don't know if Clayface is going to be coming out the right after or the same year or sometime close to Supergirl. But then again, they said that the Clayface movie is going to be a one-off. It's not going to be like a I don't even know. I don't even think he's even a. Well, see, this is what's crazy. I read about James Gunn, like somebody came to him, the writer who wrote the script for Clayface. At first, James Gunn wasn't interested, but then when he read it, he's like, dang, man, we got to do this. It was really that good.
Right.
But see, my understanding was at the time that was a one-off, kind of like Joaquin Phoenix, Joker, that we're not going to see this new Batman in James Gunn universe trying to fight this Clayface guy, right? But now when he's talking about, okay, you're seeing all these different Gotham City logos or whatever. So we're still talking about it's not the same Batman universe with Clayface, but we're seeing the same logos and everything. I don't know, man. That's what I'm not understanding. That's what I don't get. But either or, I think it's cool, that we're seeing these new. We've seen how bright and shiny Metropolis is. So, Gotham City always looked darker, than like much older city than Metropolis, not as bright. Yeah, so it remains.
For me, I'm like, I've never paid attention to the logos on the squad cars or anything else like that. So it's interesting that they're picking that up as something to focus on as a focal point.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't, to be honest with you, I don't think many people paid attention to the logos on the uniforms.
Yeah, I mean, I guess probably from what I take from this article, I think it's just the fact that James Gunn has really been keeping his cards close.
Right.
We haven't really heard any information. We've heard some names thrown about for some guys who could potentially, who fans are thinking might be the next Bruce Wayne. One guy named Jensen Ackles, Alan Ritson, and Jake Gyllenhaal. That I don't know.
Gyllenhaal, really?
Right. I say the same thing, man. That's kind of like out there. That is really kind of out there. But then, hey, look, let me say this here. When they first said Robert Pattinson was going to play Batman, I'm like, man, get out of here. That's so stupid. Now, I had to watch that Batman with him 2 times before I could really appreciate it. Because the first time that I watched it, I'm like, okay, yeah, it wasn't. It didn't really do anything for me. But I said, let me watch it again. So next time I sat down, I really watched it, put the phone away and whatever, and really watched it. And it's like, okay, it's not bad. The only thing that my biggest fault with that movie was he played his Bruce Wayne and his Batman are the same person. They're one and the same. Meaning, like, anytime you've seen Batman or Bruce Wayne is like the playboy, the women hollering at him, and he's, the party man and whatever. And then when he's Batman, he's totally serious. But Robert Pattinson, his Bruce Wayne was just as gloomy as his Batman was. You know what I mean? That was my biggest thing. And then the other thing was, I said, did this guy have like lead boots on? Because anytime he was walking, it sounded like, good grief, like he got like 50-pound boots on,
I have to say, I didn't watch that Batman.
Really?
Right? Yeah, he didn't strike me. It's kind of like how I say, he didn't strike me as a convincing person to play Batman. So it really didn't. Like sometimes when depending on the character they choose to play a certain role,
yeah,
it draws you in to say, oh man, I want to see how they're gonna do.
Yeah.
It didn't do that with me. And I guess because of, if we're talking about the same person, it's because of the way he was in Twilight.
Yeah.
That it really did not, like, I didn't see I didn't see, like, I didn't feel like he'd have the range to do Batman.
Right.
And do Batman justice.
Okay. I mean, you know what? Honestly, okay. Batman, Batman is my favorite DC character.
Yeah.
And so I'm very critical of people who play him. He did okay. He did. Like I say, I had to watch the movie 2 times to really appreciate it. But he really did okay. It wasn't too far of a stretch. Like, this is funny. Did you know, and this is, Prince is my boy forever, but this was pretty funny. When they were talking about doing the original Batman movie that came out, the one that starred Michael Keaton,
Mm-hmm.
Do you know Prince threw his name in the hat to play Batman?
Really?
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I mean, Prince was what, like 5'2", 5'4".
Right? Yeah, nah.
So we're gonna have a bat suit with the butt cheeks out or something.
There's no way he could be a Batman.
Right. So what happened was, the reason how he got to do all the music, I guess it was Jack Nicholson was a huge Prince fan. So he says, look, okay, we know he can't play Batman, but let him do the music. So that's how he was able to do all the music for Batman and everything. But I thought that was pretty funny. Oh, and here's an update here. It said the Clayface movie, standoff movie, one-off movie, it's going to be released. Actually, it's in September 11th next year. It's supposed to come out. Huh. Wow. And then it also says, okay, so I was wrong. I said 2027. So both of them are coming out. Supergirl's coming out next year, and the Clayface movie, Clayface, is coming out next year. So, but I thought Supergirl was coming out next. So
it'd be interesting. because they introduced Supergirl in
Superman.
Flash.
Huh?
In the Flash movie, they introduced Supergirl.
Yeah, but this is the Oh, but now remember, okay, I know what you're talking about. But you remember that's not in James. Remember, this is all James Gunn's universe now. So all that
Okay.
other stuff, yeah, that's not that. None of that has got nothing to do with James Gunn.
Oh,
The Supergirl that we're gonna see is the like rowdy party chick from the Superman movie.
from the Superman movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that should be that. I don't know, because Supergirl was never that character, so that'll be interesting. I mean, but again, they never made her a strong, in my opinion, short for the TV series that they had.
Mm-hmm.
They've never made her into a main character, so to speak. So they have free reign to do whatever they want with Supergirl, put her any direction they want to.
I think that I think, and again, I trust James Gunn wholeheartedly because he takes those characters like that. Like, okay, you remember the first Suicide Squad movie was stupid. That was like trash. But when he got his hands on it and redid it, man, that movie was awesome. Right? All these different characters, like the what was the guy named? The Polka Dot Man and the Rat Girl. I mean, all these like characters like most people probably wouldn't have never heard of, but he knows how to fit them together. The same way with Guardians of the Galaxy when he was at Disney. Those were not the original Guardians of the Galaxies in the comic books, but he just picked all these different random characters and put them together, and it worked out perfect. So I trust whatever this guy does. I think it's going to turn out well. So right, you're true enough. Supergirl was never like really a super strong character or whatever. But whatever he's going to do and however he's going to put her and bring her in the universe, his universe, I think we're going to see something that we've never seen before. I think he's going to bring her how can you say it, her popularity or whatever. I think he's going to bring it to a new level that we've never seen before. You know.
Now, do you think they're actually going to bring it to the point, because now they're introducing like Supergirl and all these other people? You know how they had the second team, the second Justice League, which encompassed Supergirl and all the other characters. Do you think they're gonna do it to that point where they're gonna introduce like Teen Titans?
I think that's a matter of fact, I think that they had already said something about eventually there being a Teen Titans. I don't. I'm pretty sure I read it. We'll bring that up on another show. But I think they did say that eventually that they were coming, a new, not the TV show guys, but a new Teen Titans. Yeah, I think so. I think they will be coming down the road. But we'll see what happens. Like I say, James Gunn, I think he's done very well. And again, I'm not even a huge Superman fan, but I think he did a great job on the movie. I know it was a lot of controversy. Some people liked it, some people didn't. I thought it was pretty good for a Superman movie. I was happy. Yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, so our last story for this week. This is coming from once again from the Hollywood Reporter. Warner Brothers is making a Gremlins 3 movie with Steven Spielberg and Chris Columbus returning. It says Warner Brothers is reviving the franchise after decades on the shelf for a 2027 release. The original film came out in 1984. It was written by Chris Columbus, that's the guy's name, and he's also returning to produce and direct this film. It says Steven Spielberg will be the executive producer for this film. So it's Gremlins 37 years after the original film. It says at the time, the original film was a box office hit. It said it was produced for $11 million and grossed $151 million domestically. Man, that's not bad. it said that in 1990, Gremlins 2, the new batch came out, took place in New York, and it said the film made 41 million at the box office and effectively halted the franchise. So it doesn't say how much they spent to make that one, but it didn't do that well. So, Robert, you think it's time for a Gremlins 3 to come out at the movie theater?
I do not. I wholeheartedly do not think it's time for Gremlins 3. I don't know. I think it was good where they left it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I thought there was already a 3. I remember seeing 3. I know I saw Gremlins 1 and 2.
Yeah.
For some reason I thought there was already a 3 where they were, but I guess not. But I think 1 and 2 are fine. I mean, there's not much you can really. For me personally, there's not much I really want to see after 1 and 2. I mean, you wet Gizmo, he turns into other people, he turns into more of them. They eat after midnight. They become mischievous. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, what's the point of a 3? Another kid finding Gizmo or something like that,
right?
Or being passed down by somebody else. But it's like, I don't know. I don't feel the need or necessity to revive the Gremlins. But I find that they do that a lot with movies that we grew up on. Now that Gen X is like older, they're taking these old movies and bringing them back into the theaters as if, I guess to attract our generation. But I don't.
I think that to me, what it seems like is there's a lot of nostalgia for like the 80s, more than I would even say the 70s. And the reason why I'm saying that is, okay, think of your cartoons that were really huge then. You had Transformers, which was huge. You had G.I. Joe, which was huge.
Mm-hmm.
And you see, now there's going to be I think, is it an animated series or a movie? It's going to be a crossover. It's called the Energon. Okay, there's a comic book that came out called Void. I can't think of the full name. Void something. But in essence, in it, the creator makes this universe where everybody's in it together. You have the Transformers, you have G.I. Joe, and so I believe, I don't know if it's a movie that's getting made or a series that's getting made. But we're going to actually finally see the crossover. Because I don't know. I'm sorry. My opinion. Those G.I. Joe movies were like horrible to me. But there were hints that was dropping Easter egg. I remember at the end of one of them, which kind of was talking about, maybe didn't say Transformers, but kind of like was talking something about it. You know what I mean? So It's going to happen. Right. But I just think that a lot of these guys that are making these different films, and going back to the 80s, I think that's when the well was full. There were so many different great properties back then. They're even talking, well, put it like this. I know they talked to John Carpenter, but there's been talks about there being a reboot of The Thing.
And I remember you saying that, yeah.
Right, you know what I mean? So, I mean, to me, I guess they're saying, hey, look, there was a lot of great stuff back there that we can just, redo now, reboot it. To be honest with you, I never saw the Gremlins 2. I saw the first one, and it was okay. I mean, it was an all right movie. It wasn't bad. I didn't see the second one. I mean, not for any reason that I didn't think it was going to be good. It just wasn't on my radar to really watch it or whatever.
Right.
I'm just trying to. Oh, okay. We'll put it like this: if Steven Spielberg's going to put his name on this thing, it's going to be a movie. It's going to be a good movie, one way or the other. I don't know how many new people are going to be seeing this movie with a part 3, meaning, because one thing I found, that's the one thing that I always try to get Gigi with all the time. She'll tell you about a new movie or something. I said, but go back and watch the original one first. You know what I'm saying? If you watch the original one, that's going to make a whole lot more sense than just watching this one. So I don't know if they're going to make this movie, meaning that it's going to be made so you don't have to go back and watch those original movies. You know what I mean? Or if they're saying Gremlins 3, I'm assuming it's not going to be a reboot of anything. It's going to be starting a whole new chapter.
I would
But
assume so.
right. So I mean, I trust, like I said, like I trust Gunn. I trust Steven Spielberg. I mean, I think the movie's gonna. I don't know how much it's gonna get. At the box office, how much it's gonna earn at the box office, but I mean, I think you'll get people to go see it. Like probably like there's some diehard Gremlins fans who are out there that I'm sure would run out there to go see it. You know,
Definitely.
I'll wait till it comes on TV, pay-per-view or something, or cable, you know what I mean? Streaming. It just doesn't really do much for me, to be honest.
I don't think, well, at this time, and you say that, that's a tangent, but I don't think there's many movies out there that bring me to the theater anymore.
Right. That's true. Right? Yeah.
And I think, partially it's because of, COVID and everything was streaming at home with the convenience of being at home. But yeah. Right. So I'm still looking for that great movie that's going to make me say, you know what, I want to go to the theaters to see that.
Yeah, it's true that you say that. I mean, I know the last movie that I went to go see, and oh my gosh, I wasted that. That was wasted money. I went to see that. I took Kiona. We went to go see the Deadpool Wolverine movie. Oh my gosh. I'm just not a Deadpool fan. So, I mean, if you like, fart jokes and like, juvenile jokes and all that kind of stuff, yeah, you'd love it. I just thought it was horrible. I mean, it wasn't a good, I'm not, like I say, I'm not a big, put it like this. If I had to say who made the movie, it'd have been Hugh Jackman. Wolverine really made the movie, even though it was Deadpool and Wolverine, he made the movie. But it just wasn't great to me. It really wasn't. The jokes are not funny to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I've just never really been too much into Deadpool or whatever. But it cost $50, man. All we did was, what'd I get? We had got like a big bucket of popcorn. And I think each one of us got a drink. And so now, you pay for everything at the counter with your food. You pay the ticket, everything. Dude said $50. I'm like, $50? I say, man, y'all got senior citizen discounts or anything? Really? And I mean, even with the discount, it wasn't that much of a difference. So I'm like, look, I said a couple of things. You see how during Halloween, you saw how expensive the price of candy is?
Yeah.
I said, used to be you date a girl or whatever, or you date someone and, a date or two, you get them a box of candy or something. I said, nah, man, we going to have some kind of, we got to know that this is going somewhere before I buy you some candy. I said, it's the same thing. Man, we got to be going out for a couple months before I'm going to take you to the movies, man. That's a commitment there. $50? Jeez Louise. And we went on, I always go to the earliest show of the day. So I'm sure it's like later in the daytime. But yeah, I say I agree with you, man. There's nothing that I've seen that are, coming out to like, oh, I got to see it at the movie theater. Like, nah, I'm good at home, man. I'm good. Saving some money, make my own snacks, save some cash. I'm decent. I'm good. But we'll see. We'll see when this comes out. Gremlins 3, set for release. All right, so to end the show, we have our question of the week. This is going to be a simple one, Robert. Very simple this week.
All right.
So the question of the week this week is, name a crossover, like two shows maybe that we've seen that maybe we grew up on watching in the 80s, 70s, whatever. Name a crossover between two shows, sci-fi, horror, or fantasy, that you would like to see made into a movie.
Jeez. You said it was going to be simple. Crossover.
hmm
Hmm. Make into a movie.
It could be animated. It could be animated because what I have in mind is actually like two animated series that I used to watch.
That's.
I'll give you mine first so you can think.
Go ahead.
So the what I would want to see, even though they're two completely different universes, I would love to see a Robotech movie and either Robotech and Captain Harlock or Robotech and Voltron together. Yeah, that would be my crossover.
Okay, I got you. I get the idea now. Okay, what would be my crossover?
hmm
Which I always thought, but this is me as a kid, and GoBots and Transformers. I don't know if
Oh,
you.
yeah, I do remember the GoBots because wasn't there like a lawsuit between them and the makers of the Transformers?
I don't know. I don't think so. There was like a series. I used to think they were both the one and the same,
Uh-huh.
but then I realized that they weren't. So for that, it would be cool because when I was a kid, I used to be like, it'd be good if the GoBots and Transformers were on the same show. But if I wanted to get something that was more action, the crossover that I would think of, man, because there were not really too many. It would be dang. I'm trying to think of the other show. No,
You know
no,
what
no.
was a good show? Did you ever
What?
used to watch Exo Squad?
Exo Squad was awesome.
That was an awesome show.
Now the problem with this show, which would for me would be a good crossover, is that one was based like with water. The Thundercats and the Tiger Sharks. I don't remember Tiger Sharks.
That would be crazy. Wow, that'd be a crazy show. Wow. Yeah, I remember the because they walked around, right? They were
Yeah,
like walking around like people and stuff.
yeah, they did. They did. But
Okay,
they got their when they did their morph is when they got their like the upgrade.
okay.
So
You know, you know what was I'm going back again to the comic book stuff. But you know what was a really good comic series that I know they would never, well, let me never say never because they did end up crossing Alien and Predators together. But
yeah.
you know what was a really good series, short series? Batman versus Predator.
Uh-huh.
That was a really good series.
I didn't see that.
Basically, yeah, that was a like I think a 3-part, 4-part comics. Oh, that's
I didn't know
old.
that.
That's old, man. That came
Yeah.
out back in. Actually, they have two different series. I only have the first one. They had two different series, but basically the Predator came to Gotham City and was going after the best. So it was going like it went after the best boxer, and I believe it killed him and took his hands.
Oh, okay.
And so then finally it went after the greatest crime fighter, Batman, the greatest detective ever. And it was good, man. It was a really good man, oh man. Batman, he barely made it out alive, dude. The first time that they fought, he was able to
Mm-hmm.
crawl into the Batmobile and hit the remote back to take it back to the
Think I just
Batcave.
got
And
out.
yeah, Alfred excuse me, Alfred had to patch him up, man, because that dude was in bad shape. But then that's when he came out with he came out with a suit, kind of like the suit that he fought Superman in.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's how he was able to defeat him and stuff, the Predator and whatnot. But yeah, it was good. I don't know. I don't know. I always wondered. I don't know if you would ever see anything. I mean, it's nothing to do an animated movie with that kind of stuff. I just don't know if you'd have enough people that would actually go to the theater to go see something like that. You know what I
You would.
mean?
You would.
You think?
You get good people to see that, of course. Of course.
So Batman versus Predator or
Yeah,
Superman versus Alien, and yeah, well,
they would.
okay. Well,
Now,
anyway, To our
Before
list,
before
go ahead.
before you end it, because what you said when you talk about conflict, I think one of the most underrated cartoon series when we were growing up was Dark Waters. I don't know if you
I
remember that.
never watched it. I think
Really?
I mean, let me take it back. Let me take it back. I might have watched one or two episodes, but I honestly I can't tell you anything about that show.
Oh man, it was good. It was
Really?
yeah, it was the Dark Waters were what was like waters that would swallow you up and stuff like that.
Uh
Um,
huh.
but it was set. It was like a pirate type of not so much pirate, but yeah, pirate type of theme. So but it was real good. It was to me, it was excellent. I actually now that I'm talking about it because it just came to mind. I think I'm gonna try to see if I can find the series and watch it again
Oh, yeah.
as an adult and watch it. You know, sometimes when you watch something as an adult versus when you were a kid, you're like, why do I like this so
Yeah.
much? But
Right.
yeah, because as a kid, I thought it was an awesome show. So
I'll check it
yeah,
out. I mean, I go back. I do go back sometime and watch some of those old cartoon shows or what have you, and yeah, I'll check it out. I like I said, I do remember it for whatever reason. I don't know why I never really watched it because that came out. Was that in the '90s when that came out?
yeah, it was like late '80s, early '90s.
Okay, yeah, but I
Because I think it
remember
had
it.
like three. I think it had like two seasons.
Was that a Disney series?
No, it wasn't Disney series. I don't think it was Disney at all.
Hey, did people like the one thing I can say I remember that was so realistic about Robotech? I watched this show the other day on, I don't even remember what the name of it was, but it's a show that talks about like all these old cartoon animated series and whatnot that came out and how like it's controversial like really like now because a lot of these shows had like characters like dying like Robotech I would say was more like a teenager show, right? Because you did have characters like real characters like main characters like die on that show. And then also Exo Squad was the same. This I think the whole thing about Exo Squad, I look at it different. Well, no, I was actually an adult when I started watching it. To be honest with you, but it's really jacked up. The whole story behind it, how like they created I don't remember what they're called, the purple people, whatever they are, but basically just created them to do like hard labor, right? Like slaves in essence. They made them so they would send them to like what Mars or whatever these other
Yeah,
climates where
yeah,
humans couldn't, and then they just like got tired of it. Like, no, you're not gonna treat us like that. They wanted their freedom and whatever. So it was like a war between the humans and them. I was like, man, when you look at it now, it's like, man, I'm on the purple people's side, man. That's like jacked up. You know what I mean? But the show was really cool because when you look at a lot of those different shows that came out, I guess it was maybe like a younger kid. They're not going to really understand it, so they're not really seeing it. But there's a lot of stuff in those shows, man. That's like, man, it's like really kind of adult, kind of like talking about death. Did you know? I found this out. They were talking about GI Joe, that Duke was actually supposed to die. They had actually written that in to be in one of the episodes that Duke was going to die. But I think that when they were about to bring that out, that's when that Transformer, the animated Transformer movie came out.
yeah.
And, if anybody, I'm sorry if you haven't seen it, but what is that movie like? What 40 years old now or something? When Optimus Prime died, there was like an uproar. Parents were like pissed. Their kids all traumatized seeing him die and all this kind of stuff here.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's when they like,
Terrible death.
nah, right. That's when they were like, nah, nah. So what happened was Duke ended up getting hurt. And I think it was, they said the last episode, you didn't see him, but you heard like the other Joes talking, hey, Duke is waking up or whatever. And they just left it like that. So you knew he wasn't dead. But yeah, man, some of those shows, man, people got killed. So did people die on that Dark Water show?
Yeah, they did. They got swallowed up by the waters on some of those. Yeah,
Oh man. So when that happened, that was all she wrote. They were dead.
they were dead. There was no
Wow.
zombies, no coming back.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, well. But so for our listeners, have you got any ideas? Share them with us. If you can think of two shows, I mean, whatever time period, from the 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever, animated movie, whatever, TV shows, a crossover show that you think would be interesting, let us know. Drop us an email at drbloodstone@gmail.com. Well, that being said, I want to thank my co-host, Mr. Robert Menard, for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having me.
And once again, for all of our listeners, if you would like to catch any of our older episodes, you can find them on YouTube. Anytime we come out with a new episode, it comes out on YouTube. You can subscribe to it, so anytime a new episode comes out, you'll be notified. And then you can always find all of our episodes on any of the platforms that you listen to your podcasts on. So with that being said, I want you all to have a very happy Thanksgiving. Be safe, have fun, make some memories with your family, and we'll catch you next time.
Happy Thanksgiving.